worried that Americans who went to Syria to join ISIS will return and carry out attacks back here in the United States. Well, a Fox News poll out today shows that 6 in 10, that's 60% of voters, think it is likely terrorists are living in their hometown. That's up from 48% who felt that way in 2007. House Majority Leader Kevin McCarthy joins us. Nice to see you, sir.
Nice for being here. Thank you.
Do you read into this increased number of people thinking that they're terrorists in their hometown? Is that a reflection of President Obama's foreign policy, or is that just the world is getting dangerous?
I think it's both. I think the world is getting dangerous. It's
more dangerous, I should say.
Much more dangerous. If you look at the RAND report from last year, it showed that jihadists have grown by 58%. You look at social media, and you look at the foreign fighters that have gone and joined ISIS. You have more than 30,000. Now, I know of 25 Americans that have been stopped and caught before they had traveled over as well. So it is becoming more dangerous. But think about this. This is an administration that said they needed to restart the relationship with Russia. That didn't turn out well. That we had broken the back of al-Qaeda. That ISIS was a JV team. None of that has become true. And then he also said he stopped Assad from having chemical weapons. And now we're finding out that Assad still has them. It is a concern that we have, and it's a growth around the world that when America steps back, someone else fills the void. And right now, the terrorists are beginning to fill that void.
What do you think President Obama thinks about his own foreign policy at this point? So he reflects back on the 6+ years.
Yeah, I don't know what he thinks, but I hope he wakes up from the perspective that this is a much more dangerous world, that he should just take, for instance, the GCC summit going on today and tomorrow. These are our allies, our friends that are supposed to come here and talk about this issue.
Well, except that a lot of heads of states didn't show up. A lot of them, I mean, which I thought was a snub of the president. I mean, they're invited by the president of the United States, last superpower, to go to Camp David, and many of them have other excuses.
That is a prime example. The King of Bahrain is at a horse show with the Queen of England. So that, to me, says a lot about the respect, but also what this administration has done to our allies around the world. That's why when you say they don't trust us and our enemies don't fear us, that is proof.
Is it reversible?
Yes, it is. To me, this is like 1979 all over again. We've proven we can reverse it, but you can't reverse it by not America being strong and leading.
But the difference between 1979 is you didn't have these sort of these pockets of almost a metastasis of cancer of these terrorist groups growing, whether it's in Iraq and Syria or in North Africa. I mean, or in Indonesia, or now coming back here to the United States, or returning people in London. I mean, they're going all these little pockets all over the globe.
But think about it. We do have a lot of similarities. When was the last time Americans were held hostage? In Iran in '79 and ISIS holding Americans. When was the last time the Soviet Union invaded another country? They invaded Afghanistan. Today, Russia is in Ukraine. When was the last time a American ambassador was killed on foreign soil? Killed in Afghanistan, and Stevens just in Libya. Back Afghanistan in '79. So you have a lot of similarities. You also have another similarity. In 1979, Jimmy Carter went and signed the beginning of a SALT II treaty that people rose up against and was never ratified. Of course, we just passed on the floor today the Iran review, because we're looking at what this president is wanting to do with Iran on this agreement. And the same instances have happened back then. And America rose up, led this world economically, and also made the world safer.
Mr. Leader, thank you very much for joining us.
Thanks for having me.